I'm Kat Grudko and I'm the in-house photographer at PICHA in Cape Town, South Africa. And today we're going to be talking about creating your signature style. So in terms of creating your style, it could take years to figure out, or you could figure out in a month or 6 months maybe. It's different for every person. And I know that there's a saying that says that your first 10,000 photographs are usually your worst, and I definitely agree with that. I think I probably did my first 10,000 photographs in the first year, definitely, of shooting. And now that I look back on those, at the time I thought they were amazing. But now that I look back 12 years into doing this full time, I can see I had a lot of things to learn. So you just need to keep shooting, and eventually you will get there and you'll figure out your style in the right time. Your style could come from many things. Mostly at first you've just got to figure out what type of photography you want to do. Do you love taking photos of people more than you do, say, landscapes? Do you like taking photos of those people only in ball gowns? That could be your style. It could be that you like taking photos of families with dogs, or maybe just their dogs. Or maybe you are that person who just likes landscapes and doesn't have to deal with any living being. So that comes down to figuring that out. And once you figure that out, then you kind of look at, okay, I like to shoot people. What kind of clothing do I like to shoot them in? Is it all bold, eccentric, out there clothing? Or is it more neutral, more comfortable clothing that you like to shoot and are more happy shooting? That will definitely create a big style. Then if you look at your lighting, could be down to, do you only shoot with natural light? Do you shoot with strobes? Which one do you like? If you shoot with natural light, do you only backlight your subjects? Or do you prefer that harsh light where the sun's in their face and it's that more impact? Or do you only shoot during golden hour or only during blue hour? You know? And then it's down to, do you only shoot with strobes? Who knows? Find what you like and carry on with that. Then it could also be down to your white balance. Some people like to shoot on auto and let the camera figure it out for themselves. Say some landscape photographers might like shooting on whatever they're shooting and then go, oh, okay, it's looking a little too blue. Let me change over to cloudy, because then I know that that's going to give me a more warmer orange sort of tone for my landscape, and I don't want to have to play around with it too much in post-production. So you could change your white balance as you shoot everything, or you can keep it on auto. I know I generally keep it on auto unless I am shooting a landscape and I notice that it is too blue. So that is the exception where I'll change it a little bit. Could also come down to how much you decide to remove or not remove in a scene when you're taking photos. Do you like your photos to be very rich and full of stuff, or do you like that more like natural minimalist type way of shooting where you would basically remove everything except for the things that you're shooting, you know, and that have to do with your concept? Some people also, I know I did it in the beginning, some people prefer to go, oh, I'll remove that in post, and I still do it, and then I regret it every single time because it takes so much work to remove stuff in post. I've definitely learned over the years that it's way better if you see there's a toy or just something lying around, a cable that shouldn't be there, rather just remove it in the moment. It takes an extra second or two, but I promise you it's going to take a lot longer to remove in Photoshop. So make sure to clear your area of anything that you don't want. Then it could come down to the rule of thirds. Some people like to use it, some people don't. I mean, it's up to you. Some people could only shoot with their subject straight in the middle of the frame. Some people might shoot with it on the first third or the third third. So it depends. You might sort of move it around and only shoot on the thirds, and that could be your style. It also comes down to color grades in your images. You need to learn how to see colors. I remember a couple years ago, I had a bit of a meltdown because I took a photo of a girl with red hair, similar to mine, actually it was more red. And then when I looked at the photo on a different screen, her hair was like kind of brown and her skin tones were a bit off. And I was like, Dad, this looks terrible. I thought that it was perfect because on my computer screen it was perfect. Meanwhile, it was way off and my screen was completely off. And my dad couldn't see the difference between the two different screens. So someone who hasn't taught themselves how to see that difference in color won't notice it But for people in our industry who have taught themselves how to see the different grades and colors and white balances, it's quite a big thing. You need to learn how to see that. So you need to look for the different types of styles and grades. You need to see, do you prefer warm tones, the more orangey feel, or do you prefer cooler tones, the more blue tones? I know some photographers who only do the orange tones and some who only do the blue tones, and that's a huge part of their style. I can see it a mile away when they post. So you need to find these people on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, wherever, find their pages, follow them, see what it is about their style that you like. And then if you really do like the way that they edit, see if they've got presets. Most photographers these days end up making presets because you end up doing the same thing to all of your photos. So you end up basically making your own presets, and then you may as well sell them. So you can buy other photographers' presets, and if that's the case and you always find yourself doing the exact same thing, make your own presets, and then maybe you can sell those. So you need to keep your edits in general as natural as possible for stock, purely because every client will have their own grade or their own sort of corporate identity or feel that they're going to want to add over it. And if you've taken your editing to like the end of the spectrum and it's like kind of pushing it and you can really see like your style coming through, then they're going to have to try and undo that to sort of make it match with their brand and their corporate identity. So it's actually better in terms of stock photography to just keep your grade and your edits as neutral as possible, so that it doesn't actually look like there's any editing done, but you're just kind of polishing it off and making sure that it's not like too much blue or too much orange, because sometimes your white balance can be out a little bit. And if you're shooting on your cell phone, then you get lots of apps to edit. So you can use Visco, you can use Snapseed, Lightroom has their own app that they now do on phones, and Adobe Photoshop Express is really good as well. There's probably loads more than that as well, but if you do a good Google, I promise you a lot will come up. Then another way to figure out your style is by assisting people. And this is a huge one. I didn't study photography, and I learned everything that I learned just through assisting people. And in the beginning, I assisted one person, and then my style started looking exactly like his, and people told me that my photos looked exactly like his, and I thought, oh, what a compliment, I look like his, and he's been doing it for like years, and I've only been doing it for a couple months. But it actually became a bit of a problem, and at that point I decided, okay, now we need to assist a couple different people. And then what you do is you learn how they shoot, see how they interact with people, and you learn how they edit and what they do and little bits of their tricks if they're willing to share with you. And then you take all of that and you take the best parts of each of them that you like, and you then make that your style. And then that ensures that you have your individual style and you're not just copying someone else. So ultimately, all of this, it's about finding your why. You need to figure out what you are passionate about. Is it people, like I am? I love taking photos of people. Is it a certain cause? Is it animals? Is it a specific type of animal? Is it global warming? Is it nature and landscapes? Maybe you really don't enjoy shooting people, so you choose to shoot inanimate objects. Maybe you really like details, so maybe you are a lifestyle or product photographer. You have to define that style through your personality and what you like, and really dig into it and figure that out. And then that's going to attract your ideal client. By you being authentic and taking photos of something that really means something to you, it's going to show through, and your passion's going to show through, and it's going to give what you're doing so much meaning, and you're going to do a way more thorough job that way than you would if you were doing something that meant absolutely nothing to you. You know, if you all of a sudden say, oh, I'm going to shoot weddings because wedding photographers make a lot of money, but you don't actually believe in getting married and weddings, it's going to show in your photos. However, if you are the opposite of that and you absolutely love weddings and you've always seen it as this fairy tale that you look forward to having in your life, then that's going to show in your photos. And people are just going to be drawn to you because they're going to see how much you love it. And they're going to see on the day whether you love it or not. So it'll definitely show. People can see that. So we're all handed challenges in life, and they shape us and they mold us and they really impact who we are. And that may change over time. but use those challenges to give you direction and help you really figure out what it is that you want to do and in what direction you want to go. So it's also about consistency. Just as I said, those first 10,000 photos might not be your best. You just have to keep shooting. You have to keep learning. Every mistake is an opportunity to try again. Every failure is an opportunity to try again, but this time with more knowledge. And that is the best gift that you can ever get, really. So with all of that, keep shooting, post often, and on all of these forums, Facebook groups, Instagram, find people and ask for critique and listen to their critique. And don't take it personally, because if you genuinely ask and you want to know, there's a lot of people in this industry who genuinely just want other people to succeed and learn and do better. So if you really ask genuinely, take that feedback very lightly and not personally at all. I know it's difficult sometimes, but take it and use it to make it better the next time, and then take that and make it better the next time. And eventually you'll turn back and you'll go, oh, hey, that's my style. People will see your style before you do, but you'll get there as soon as you should and can. You can't really rush it. You'll figure it out in time, and it may change over time, but ultimately you will get there and you'll realize it when you have it.